Chapter 71, the 8th level of the body refining realm. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yuan Fei has excellent qualifications and powerful strength. Even ordinary warriors in the early Tiangang realm are no match for him. However, at this moment, he admitted that he was not Lin Chen's opponent. Yuan Fei was the first-place winner in the Tianluo Mountain secret realm last year. He has excellent talent and is now well known in the inner sect. As for Lin Chen, although he slapped Duan Fong away, his cultivation was only at the peak of the 7th level of the body refining realm. Many inner disciples around him still subconsciously believed that Lin Chen was not Yuan Fei's opponent. Before many inner disciples could think about it, Yuan Fei shouted loudly and quickly raised the sword in his hand. Lin Chen, be careful. Bone-breaking chop. As his voice fell, the sword in his hand was raised in the air and slashed towards Lin Chen. Just now, Yuan Fei used this sword to resist Duan Fong's attack, and finally knocked Duan Fong away. One can imagine how powerful it is. Seeing this situation, Lin Chen's face showed no change in color. He raised the cold iron sword in his hand, and flashes of sword light suddenly flashed through. After leaving several afterimages in the air, he also struck Yuan Fei with a bang. With a bang, Lin Chen's cold iron sword and Yuan Fei's broadsword attacked together. Sparks flew out from the comparison between the two, and the momentum was horrifying, and with this forceful blow, the bodies of both of them moved backwards. Yuan Fei stepped back more than 10 steps before stopping. Lin Chen, on the other hand, only took 3 steps back and then stopped steadily. Yuan Fei had a look of surprise on his face. He originally thought that with Lin Chen using such strength, the two of them would be tied, but unexpectedly, Lin Chen had the upper hand. Awesome! Lin Chen, take another blow from me. Yuan Fei roared and struck down again with the sword in his hand. Countercurrent slash. In an instant, a strong wind formed around Yuan Fei, whistling. His sword seemed slow, but it was extremely fast. In almost the blink of an eye, he appeared in front of Lin Chen in less than 10 seconds. Meters away. This move of mine is an improved version of Bone Broken Slash when I was practicing in the Malian Mountains. In terms of power, it is no weaker than the low-level Xian-level martial arts. Lin Chen, you have to be careful. That while Yuan Fei made this move, Yuan Fei said repeatedly, improved from the Bone Crusher. Lin Chen was slightly stunned. This improvement is almost equivalent to self-created martial arts. Unexpectedly, Yuan Fei's martial arts talent is so great that he can actually improve the top-level Huang-level bone-breaking chop into a weapon that is as powerful as the low-level Xian-level martial arts fantasy sword. Without time to think about it, Lin Chen also displayed his martial arts skills. In an instant, he swung the cold iron sword in his hand quickly, leaving afterimages in the air, and then attacked Yuan Fei faster than Yuan Fei's sword. Broken. Lin Chen uttered one word. As the words fell, there was a slight collision sound. Lin Chen's body retreated, while Yuan Fei's expression changed instantly. He was pale, with a thin layer of sweat on his forehead. His body took dozens of steps back. Yuan Fei, defeated. Many of the inner disciples around were slightly distracted. Originally, when Yuan Fei used the improved bone-shattering slash, also known as the countercurrent slash, they thought that Lin Chen would definitely lose. You must know that Yuan Fei's cultivation level is higher than that of Lin Chen. A warrior with a lower cultivation level will not have an advantage when competing with a warrior with a higher cultivation level than himself. In addition, the power of the sword struck by Yuan Fei is comparable to Xian-level low-level martial arts. Under such circumstances, how could a warrior at the 7th level of the body refining realm remain undefeated? However, the result surprised them. Lin Chen was able to resist it easily, and even counterattacked, defeating Yuan Fei. More importantly, Lin Chen seemed to be able to do it with ease and did not use all his strength. Yuan Fei withdrew his sword and said with a wry smile, Lin Chen, you are so perverted. You are only at the 7th level of the body refining realm, but you actually have such strength. But. At this point, Yuan Fei's voice suddenly became solemn, and he said unyieldingly, I will work hard to practice, but you have to be careful. If you relax at all, I will catch up with you immediately. A warrior at the 9th level of the body refining realm said this to Lin Chen, who was at the 7th level of the body refining realm. It sounded quite strange, but in the ears of many inner disciples, it felt like a matter of course. The potential shown by Lin Chen made even some veteran inner disciples feel the pressure. There's no guarantee that one day, Lin Chen's strength will surpass them. Lin Chen smiled, cupped his hands and said, I agree. Although Yuan Fei lost to Lin Chen, this did not affect the relationship between the two. Yuan Fei also smiled slightly, and walked towards his courtyard with Lin Chen. The two of them lived next to each other in the inner gate. Yuan Fei seemed to have some insights from the battle just now. He chatted with Lin Chen for a few words, then said goodbye and returned to his small courtyard. Not long after Yuan Fei left, Lin Chen also returned to his small courtyard. After not living in this small courtyard for more than a month, there was a thin layer of dust in the small courtyard. Lin Chen waved his big hand, inciting the inner energy in his body, forming a strong wind in the small courtyard, sweeping the small courtyard from the inside out. It's clean. Compared with Lin Chen's previous world, the warriors in this world have unparalleled potential. Some extremely talented warriors can possess great strength if they practice to the extreme. It is easy for them to overturn mountains and seas and split mountains with one palm. There was even a city that accidentally offended a powerful warrior. In anger, the warrior single-handedly slaughtered an entire city, leaving tens of millions of people dead. But in the end, this warrior was also chased by many powerful warriors from Tianling Continent. Although the result of this ruthless man was not good, it revealed a message that it is not impossible for a warrior to reach a certain level of cultivation and reach the sky. Lin Chen uses the true energy in his body to form a wind, which is only one of the most basic manifestations of a body refining realm warrior. After his cultivation reaches the Tiangang realm, he can use his true energy to transform into various weapons and attack. Of course, the power of the transformed weapons is also determined by the purity and quantity of the true energy in the warrior's body. After cleaning the room, Lin Chen sat cross-legged on the bed, holding a medium-grade spiritual stone in each hand, and started practicing with his eyes closed. Lin Chen took the Qingyuan fruit last time. After refining, his cultivation level broke through from the late 7th level of the body refining realm to the 7th peak of the body refining realm. He was only one step away from successfully reaching the early 8th level of the body refining realm. Warrior, in the past few days, he had used his true energy to rush on the road and had another battle with Yuan Fei. He felt that there were vague signs of a breakthrough in his cultivation. Therefore, he plans to spend some time in seclusion to upgrade his cultivation to the early stage of the 8th level of body refining realm. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, it was half a month later, on this day, in the room. Lin Chen exhaled a breath of turbid air and woke up from his practice. He closed his eyes and looked inside. The energy in his body had increased a lot again, and he was just one step away from a breakthrough. After a body refining realm warrior's cultivation reaches the 7th level, if he wants to go further, the difficulty will increase a lot. The 7th level is refining the internal organs, the 8th level is refining the essence, and the 9th level is the realm of qi training. The so-called refining of the 8th level is the cultivation of spirit, and the 9th level of qi training, combined with the 8th level of refining, is the refining of qi. When the refining of qi is completely completed, the warrior's cultivation level will break through and he will become a Tiangang realm master. Therefore, the 8th and 9th levels are particularly difficult to practice. After all, what is cultivated in the 8th level is no longer the body, but the mysterious spirit. Half a month has passed, and although Lin Chen's cultivation has still not broken through, his whole person seems to have changed tremendously. Obviously, his energy and spirit have been tempered, and now there is only one opportunity left for Lin Chen to make a breakthrough. Lin Chen shook his head slightly. Let's practice sword first. During the past half-month, Lin Chen took middle-grade qi gathering pills in the morning and evening and practiced with middle-grade spiritual stones. In the afternoon, he practiced swordsmanship and bronze body refining techniques. His cultivation level has not changed much, but Lin Chen's swordsmanship has improved a lot. Walking out of the door, the sun is shining brightly outside. Lin Chen pulled out the cold iron sword and began to dance slowly in the yard. After a set of 7-star chain swords was used, a sword light shot out from the cold iron sword and shot straight into the sky. After practicing the sword technique several times, Lin Chen turned to practice the bronze body refining technique. The afternoon passed quietly. At night, Lin Chen once again sat cross-legged on the bed, using middle-grade spiritual stones to practice. Lin Chen took out a middle-grade chi-gathering pill, took it, held the middle-grade spirit stone in his hand, and began to practice. After the middle-grade chi-gathering pill and the middle-grade spirit stones, heaven and earth spiritual energy were absorbed and purified by shouting. A purer stream of heaven and earth spiritual energy was emitted. With an expressionless expression on his face, Lin Chen started to use the Qingming Xianyang Kung Fu to create a great cycle of heaven and earth, and began to refine the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Less than half an hour later, suddenly, a slight voice came from Lin Chen's body. Buzz. Hearing this voice, Lin Chen was startled and immediately looked inside. Just to see, in his dantian, the wisps of true energy flowed all over his body at this moment, blending into the flesh and bones. Sensing the change, Lin Chen's face showed a hint of joy, finally a breakthrough. Since he took the Qingyuan fruit, his cultivation has reached the peak of the 7th level of the body refining realm. He is only one step away from being able to immediately break through to the early stage of the 8th level of the body refining realm. Now that it has settled for another half-month, his energy and spirit have been tempered. When the time comes, his cultivation will naturally break through. Lin Chen was keenly aware of the opportunity. He closed his eyes and concentrated, and continued to do the big cycle steadily. As the spiritual energy of heaven and earth was refined, the true energy in his body increased at an extremely fast rate. Buzzing. There was another slight dull sound. The smile on Lin Chen's face suddenly bloomed, and he breathed out slowly. Early stage of the 8th level of the body refining realm. Everything fell into place without any hindrance. This breakthrough can be said to be the most natural that Lin Chen has experienced since his cultivation. When the true energy in his body reaches this critical point and settles for a period of time, his cultivation will naturally break through. With the breakthrough in cultivation, the quality of the true energy in Lin Chen's dantian has been greatly improved. More importantly, his energy have become fuller and his momentum has greatly increased. If Lin Chen were to deal with Lin Xiong now, even if he didn't use his sword power, he would not be at a disadvantage when Lin Xiong used his secret skills. His strength has been greatly improved. Chapter 72, Ice Stone. You are listening at MaleProtagonist. The next day, Lin Chen came to the Inner Sect Mission Hall early. The missions in the Mission Hall are divided into 7 stars. Most of the Inner Sect disciples choose 2-star or 3-star missions. As for the higher star missions, unless they are extremely talented and have strong strength, other Inner Sect disciples can't complete them at all. 3-star mission requires a level 4 high-level demon beast 4-armed demon ape inner pill. Completing the mission will reward 200 contribution points and 800 low-grade spirit stones. Note, this mission requires going deep into the Malian Mountains. It is not recommended for warriors with cultivation below the middle stage of Tiangang realm to accept this mission. 3-star mission, destroy Huwei village. Crime, Huwei village burned, killed, looted, committed all kinds of evil, and looted passing caravans. Completing the mission will reward 350 contribution points and 1000 low-grade spirit stones. Note, the owner of Huwei village is in the middle stage of Tiangang realm, with great sword skills, 3 subordinates in the early stage of Tiangang realm, and dozens of body refining realm warriors. It is recommended that several disciples in the middle stage of Tiangang realm go together. 3-star mission. Lin Chen shook his head slightly as he read along. Most of these tasks take quite a long time and are not suitable for Lin Chen. The first 3-star task is more suitable for Lin Chen than other tasks, but this task does not indicate the location of the 4-armed demon ape. If Lin Chen takes this task, it will be a problem to find the 4-armed demon ape, and the monsters killed by Lin Chen may not contain inner elixir. Lin Chen pondered for a moment and planned to look at the 4-star task first. With his current cultivation and strength, it is not easy to accept the 4-star task. The 4-star task is generally accepted by the inner disciples of the middle stage of the Tiangang realm. If the warriors of the early stage of the Tiangang realm accept it, there is a great possibility of death, and Lin Chen is only at the early stage of the 8th level of the body refining realm at this moment, but now he has no choice. These 3-star tasks take too long, but Lin Chen does not have so much time to waste. However, just when Lin Chen was about to look at the 4-star task, suddenly, an elder of the task hall came over, holding a task card in his hand, and walked straight to the 3-star task column, and then placed the task card in his hand at the highest place of the 3-star task. This task is obviously not easy. Otherwise the elder would not put it at the top. Seeing this scene, Lin Chen stopped and subconsciously looked at the task that the elder had just issued. 3-star task, protect the Wang family caravan to go to the Malian Mountains to collect ice stones. The Wang family is located in Tianling Town. After accepting this task, please rush to Tianling Town immediately. Completing the task will reward 200 contribution points and 7,000 low-grade spirit stones. Lin Chen read it once and his eyes lit up immediately. That's it. This task is the same as the first 3-star task that Lin Chen saw before, and it also requires going deep into the Malian Mountains. But unlike that task, this task only needs to protect the Wang family caravan from entering the Malian Mountains. The entire task from beginning to end takes only a few days to complete, which just meets Lin Chen's requirements. Lin Chen reached out to take the task off and recorded it with the elders in the task hall. The elder was slightly stunned when he saw Lin Chen accept the task that had just been put up, but perhaps because Lin Chen, with the 7th level of the body refining realm, had completed the task of killing the butcher Lao Gao alone last time, the elder was quite impressed with him. So he was not too surprised to see Lin Chen accept this 3-star task. However, even so, he still said with a serious face, Lin Chen, your cultivation is still in the body refining realm after all. This task is very difficult, and I suggest you be cautious. Lin Chen shook his head and said, thank you for your kindness, elder, but I am confident that I can complete the task. Hearing Lin Chen's answer, the elder said no more, nodded, recorded the task, and said, Lin Chen, I wish you good luck. Lin Chen smiled, put away the task card, went to the sect to rent a black horse, and then went straight to Tianling Town. Tianling Town is located in the northwest of Tianji Sect, about 3 days away from here. Tianling Town is next to the Malian Mountains, so the trade here is prosperous. There are many caravans and warriors going in and out of the Malian Mountains, either picking herbs or killing monsters. The mission that Lin Chen accepted was to protect the Wang family caravan to collect ice stones in the depths of the Malian Mountains. The Wang family also discovered the ice stones by accident. There is a cold pond in the Malian Mountains, which contains a lot of ice stones. After receiving this news, the Wang family was overjoyed. Their family makes a living by making weapons, and this ice stone is a precious material for many weapons. The weapons made by integrating ice stones are much harder than ordinary weapons. So, the Wang family arranged 2 waves of people to go to the Malian Mountains to collect ice stones, but they all failed. The place where the cold pond is located is between the outer periphery and the depths of the Malian Mountains. Most of the monsters that appear are high-level or top-level level 4 monsters. If you are unlucky, you will also encounter level 5 monsters. The Wang family arranged 2 groups of people to go to the cold pond to collect ice stones, but both failed. As you can imagine, the danger was high. However, because of this, the Wang family was no longer able to send a team to collect ice stones independently, but if they gave up collecting ice stones, they would be unwilling. So the Wang family sought help from the sect. After 3 days, Lin Chen finally arrived at Tianling Town, and then he went straight to the Wang family mansion. The Wang family mansion is located to the west of Tianling Town. When Lin Chen arrived here, he found that there were already several warriors standing in the courtyard. Among them, there were 4 people wearing costumes of different sections. 2 were inner disciples of the Tianji Sect, another was a disciple of the Qian Sect, and there was a woman from the Wushuang Hall. Among these 4 people, except for the 2 inner disciples of Tianji Sect who are in the early stage of Tiangang realm, the other 2 disciples from different sects are both in the middle stage of Tiangang realm. The Wang family is just a small family. They not only posted the tasks in Tianji Sect, but also posted the tasks in many other sects in Yannan Territory. Therefore, there are so many inner disciples from other sects here. After all, a small family like the Wang family cannot fight against the sect. If they only post the tasks in Tianji Sect and turn a blind eye to other sects, it will inevitably cause dissatisfaction from other sections. It will be much more difficult for them to post tasks in the future. When several warriors in the courtyard saw Lin Chen coming, they were all stunned. Early stage of the 8th level of the body refining realm. The 4 warriors frowned slightly, and the young man wearing the clothes of the inner disciple of the Tianji Sect whispered with a frivolous look. In front of the courtyard, a middle-aged man in a white robe and full of majesty was also stunned, with a look of astonishment on his face. It was the head of the Wang family. In order not to offend other sects, the head of the Wang family issued tasks to multiple sects at the same time, but he didn't expect that the person coming from the Tianji Sect was a warrior in the early 8th level of the body refining realm. With this level of cultivation, coming to participate in such a task, isn't it looking for death? The most important thing is that if he joins the caravan, he may not only fail to protect the caravan, but will drag the caravan down, which is not good for them at all. At this time, the young disciple of the Tianji Sect snorted and said, "Boy, if you don't have the strength, don't join in the fun. The place we are going to is the depths of the Malian Mountains. Now, go back to where you came from." Although the other 3 sect disciples did not speak, their expressions revealed that their thoughts were the same as those of the young disciples of the Tianji Sect. Entering the depths of the Malian Mountains is not a joke. Without sufficient strength, you will only destroy yourself. Otherwise, the Wang family would not have sent 2 waves of troops, and they would not have been almost wiped out before reaching the cold pond. The head of the Wang family showed an embarrassment on his face. In fact, what the young disciple of the Tianji Sect said was exactly what he wanted to say. Although Lin Chen was only in the early 8th level of the body refining realm, he was an inner disciple of the Tianji Sect after all. If he was sent back, it would be much more difficult for him to issue tasks in the Tianji Sect in the future. Hearing the words of the young disciple of the Tianji Sect, Lin Chen just smiled faintly. He understood what these people were worried about. He smiled faintly and said, "Don't worry, since I dare to accept this task, I have the confidence to complete it. You don't have to worry about me." Hearing this, the head of the Wang family looked at Lin Chen with some suspicion. Lin Chen's cultivation was only in the early 8th level of the body refining realm, but he accepted this difficult task. Is his strength really that strong? He hesitated for a moment, and finally nodded and said, "Well, welcome to join our team." Seeing that the head of the Wang family made a decision, the 2 people from the Tianling Sect and the woman from the Wushuang Hall became expressionless. On the other side, the young man from the Tianji Sect snorted coldly and said to Lin Chen in a deep voice, "If you want to die, we won't stop you." Hearing the young man's words, the head of the Wang family showed a trace of embarrassment on his face, but he didn't dare to offend Lin Chen, let alone the young man from the Tianji Sect. After all, the latter was a mid-stage Tiangang realm cultivator and the main force of this mission, while Lin Chen was only an early stage of the 8th level of the refining body realm. In comparison, the head of the Wang family still had a judgment in his heart about which one was more important. The head of the Wang family smiled and said, "May I know your name, young master?" "Lin Chen." "Okay. Lin Chen, this is Fang Shang from the Tianji Sect. These 2 are Yang Feng and Zhou Wenyao from the Tianling Sect, and this is Ji Tungwen from the Wushuang Hall." After a pause, the head of the Wang family continued, "5 of you, please follow me. We will rest here tonight and set off for the Malian Mountains early tomorrow morning." Lin Chen and the other 5 nodded and followed the head of the Wang family into the hall. After lunch, Lin Chen and the other 5 returned to the rooms that the Wang family had prepared for them to rest. The head of the Wang family stayed in the hall with an old man. The old man was the elder of the Wang family, named Wang Tianming. He was the leader of the Wang family team this time. He was in the early stage of Tiangang realm. He looked at the figures of Lin Chen and the other 5 people leaving, and a trace of worry appeared on his face. "Head, the 2 previous times we arranged people, almost all of them were wiped out, which greatly consumed the funds of the clan. If we still invest so many spirit stones this time." Wang Tianming's face was even more worried. In order to collect ice stones, the clan has already used a large amount of spirit stones, and this time, a large reward was offered to invite disciples from the sect. The Wang family no longer has more spirit stones to spend on this. If this mission still fails, then the funds within the Wang family will not be able to circulate smoothly, and the consequences will be disastrous. Chapter 74, The Surprising Lin Chen. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A low-level 4th-level demon beast is already comparable to a warrior in the early stage of the Tiangang realm. You know, demon beasts usually suppress warriors of the same level. This low-level 4th-level snow and cold python, even Ji Tungwen and others feel pressure to kill it. Let's go together. Crazy Sand Palm. Fang Shang roared and hit the snow and cold python with one palm. Lin Chen, Ji Tungwen, Dong Feng, Zhou Wenyao and several Tiangang realm warriors in the team all surrounded the snow and cold python. Shock Dragon Slash. Bang 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 bang. Yang Feng drew out a big knife and roared and slashed at the snow and cold python several times, and a series of metal collisions sounded immediately. Lin Chen also drew out his long sword and attacked the snow and cold python. For a while, a continuous sound of collisions came from the cold pond, and the team members not far away were terrified. The attack of Fang Shang and others immediately knocked off the large scales on the body of the snow-cold python, and a blood flower rose. According to this trend, it was only a matter of time to kill this snow-cold python. However, under the severe pain, the snow-cold python let out a hissing sound, swung its huge tail, and swept towards everyone fiercely. You must know that this snow-cold python is a low-level 4th-level monster. If it hits Fang Shang and others with this attack, they will definitely be injured. Everyone was shocked, and one by one they used their body skills to retreat violently. However, at the same time, a scream sounded, and they saw that a Tiangang realm early warrior sent by the Wang family failed to dodge in time and was swept by the snow-cold python's giant tail. His body was knocked out and fell to the ground and twitched constantly. He was seriously injured and lost his combat effectiveness. Wang Tianling's face was a little livid, and he immediately arranged for someone to send healing medicine to the warrior hit by the snow-cold python's giant tail. If they continue to fight like this, although they can kill this snow-cold python, it is inevitable that someone will be injured, and it will also delay a lot of time. Seeing this, Lin Chen flashed, and his body was like an eagle, rushing towards the snowy python. At the same time, he swung the fine steel sword in his hand continuously, leaving several afterimages in the air, and quickly attacked the snowy python's body. Ji Tungwen, Fang Shang and others who had just stabilized their bodies were slightly surprised when they saw Lin Chen's attack. Lin Chen, what are you doing? Ji Tungwen shouted, stepped on the footwork, and the black iron sword in his hand hit out in an instant. Really don't know what you mean. Fang Shang snorted coldly, with a look of disdain, but he also used martial arts and quickly attacked the snowy python. Several other people were also surprised, but they quickly reacted and attacked the snowy python again. Almost at the moment when everyone took action, Lin Chen's cold iron sword attacked the snowy python's body fiercely. Bang! A dull sound rang out, then, the roar of the snowy python was heard. Under Lin Chen's attack, the body of the snowy python was pressed several inches deep. Where Lin Chen's cold iron sword hit it, a large piece of scales fell off, revealing the bright red flesh inside. Lin Chen's attack actually seriously injured the snowy python. Whoosh whoosh, then, Lin Chen raised the cold iron sword again and stabbed the snowy python several times. Roar! Under Lin Chen's continuous attack, the snowy python had no power to resist. After a while, its roar gradually weakened and finally disappeared. At this time, Fang Shang and others were still in an attacking posture, ready to use martial arts to besiege the snowy python. Hiss! Someone took a breath and looked at Lin Chen in shock, killing a low-level 4th-level monster with a few swords. Many people shook their heads, as if they thought they had an illusion. You know, Lin Chen was only at the beginning of the 8th level of the body refining realm. Originally, everyone thought that Lin Chen was the weakest among the 5 sect disciples, but they never thought that he could easily kill the snow frost python. What a good swordsmanship! What a sharp sword! Ji Tongwen's expression was moved, and her eyes stared at Lin Chen without blinking. Lin Chen's swords were actually performed in conjunction with the ancient bronze body refining art. You know, he has already cultivated the ancient bronze body refining art to the 3rd level of broken copper rebirth, and his fist force has reached nearly 16,000 kilograms per punch. It is precisely because of this that the snow frost python was suppressed without any resistance. If it were a person who attacked, I am afraid that while injuring the snow frost python, the latter would also fight back. Fang Xiang and others looked at Lin Chen with some surprise. The strength shown by Lin Chen was no weaker than that of an ordinary mid-stage Tiangang realm warrior. On the other side, seeing Lin Chen kill the snow frost python, Wang Tianming, the elder of the Wang family, was stunned at first, and then his expression became overjoyed. Although Lin Chen's strength was unexpected, the stronger he was, the more secure the team would be. For a moment, Lin Chen became the focus of everyone. Lin Chen didn't care too much. After a slight breath, he walked to the body of the snow-cold python and cut the body of the snow-cold python with the cold iron sword in his hand. This snow-cold python is a low-level 4th-level monster. Its scales are excellent materials for refining armor and are very expensive. Ji Tungwen and others had no objection. After all, this monster was killed by Lin Chen. Seeing this scene, Wang Tianming immediately arranged for people to enter the cold pond to take the ice stone. Except for a part of the ice stone outside the cold pond, most of it is inside the cold pond, so warriors need to sneak into the cold pond to take the ice stone. After the arrangements were made, Wang Tianming walked towards Lin Chen and said with a slightly grateful expression, "This snow-cold python is a 4th-level low-level monster. Although we have the strength to kill it, it is inevitable that someone will be injured. It took a lot of time, so I would like to thank you for your timely action." Lin Chen shook his head and said with a smile, "Elder, you don't have to be polite." Wang Tianming nodded, raised his finger and touched the scales of the snow-cold python on the ground, and said with a smile, "I wonder what Mr. Lin plans to do with these monster materials." Hearing this, Lin Chen was slightly stunned. The materials on this snow-cold python are quite good, and if it is sold, you can naturally get a large sum of spiritual stones. Lin Chen expressed his thoughts, but Wang Tianming shook his head and said sincerely, "Master Lin should understand that our Wang family is a family that refines weapons. Even many sects in the Yannan region are not the same as our Wang family. There have been transactions. Mr. Lin, you might as well give these monster materials to me, and when we return, our Wang family will refine a piece of soft armor for Mr. Lin for free." After a pause, Wang Tianming continued, "As for other materials needed for refining, our Wang family provides them for free." "Oh, thank you very much, Elder." Lin Chen looked stunned for a moment, then his mind changed and he understood what Wang Tianming meant. When killing the snowy python just now, Lin Chen contributed the most and showed great strength. The first thing Wang Tianming wanted to do was make friends with Lin Chen. After all, the Wang family is a small family and it would be very important for him to make friends with a talented disciple like Lin Chen. The benefits are self-evident. Secondly, Lin Chen has such strength, which will be of great help to their team. It is natural for the Wang family to give some discounts. After handing all the scales of the snow python to Wang Tianming, Lin Chen released his soul power, covering 100 meters in radius centered on him. The harvesting of ice stones was proceeding quickly, but the water in the cold pool was quite cold, so the miners who sneaked into it to collect the ice stones had to come out for air soon. Fortunately, Wang Tianming quickly thought of a way to make up for it, and arranged for many warriors to sneak in and collect the ice stones. Lin Chen and other 5 people, as well as part of the team's guards, stood around on guard. Lin Chen stood in the northwest, exuding soul power. Suddenly, he let out a light sigh and looked towards a bush dozens of meters away in front of him. A century-old lark. An unexpected look of joy appeared on Lin Chen's face. Taking this lark can improve a warrior's cultivation. What's more important is its age. Centenarian herb is quite rare. I didn't expect there to be one here. With this lark grass, it will definitely be much easier for Lin Chen to practice. The snow python may not only stay here because of the cold pool. If it takes this lark, it may be able to advance to the 4th level of high-level monster. Lin Chen had a smile on his face. He stretched out his hand to pick the lark, put it in a spiritual box, and was about to turn around when he suddenly stopped again. In the ground next to this lark, a small section of white stone was exposed. There was a strong cold air on this stone, which was much colder than the ice stones Lin Chen had seen. It's also an ice stone. This ice stone. Originally, the ice stone was only a small part exposed. Lin Chen also saw it, but he didn't pay much attention to it. Although the ice stone is good, Lin Chen has already collected a lot of it before. Naturally, he will not take this ice stone seriously, but just when he turned around, his soul force swept here again, and he found that this ice stone was slightly different from other ice stones. The cold air in this ice stone is more intense and extremely hard, obviously higher than ordinary ice stones. Lin Chen didn't know much about things like ores, and he couldn't tell what grade this ice stone was. Ore, like spirit stone, is divided into low grade, medium grade, high grade and top grade. The higher the grade of spiritual stone, the more precious it is. The ice stones used by the Wang family team this time are basically low-grade ice stones. Lin Chen didn't think much, put the ice stone into the storage ring, and returned to his position to be on guard again. Lin Chen planned to add this piece of ice stone to his cold iron sword after returning. In this way, the cold iron sword would be harder and sharper. Others saw Lin Chen walking back and forth and didn't pay much attention. In fact, Fang Shan and others also walked back and forth from time to time, looking for spiritual herbs. After all, if sect disciples accept this kind of mission, if they encounter spiritual herbs and various precious spiritual objects, they can pick them themselves and earn extra money. The team picked the ice stones very quickly, and it didn't take long to fill 3 boxes. Watching these ice stones being picked up one by one, the smile on Wang Tianming's face grew stronger. I am afraid that the ice stones obtained from this operation alone are enough for the Wang family to make a lot of money. 2 hours later, nearly 10 boxes of ice stones had been collected. At this time, it was already afternoon. Wang Tianming immediately ordered everyone to prepare to return to Tianling town. After all, the nights in the Maoyan mountains are very dangerous. There are so many of them, many of whom are at the 3rd or 4th level of the body refining realm. If they spend the night here, they will easily become the target of the monsters that come out at night. Therefore, although they were a little reluctant and hoped to take more ice stones, everyone still planned to turn back immediately. But at this moment, the ground suddenly shook, and at the same time, there were extremely dull roars of monsters. Ho ho ho! The expressions of Wang Tianming and others changed instantly. Chapter 75: A Critical Moment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Monster attacks, monster attacks. At the same time, many guards screamed in horror. The expressions of Lin Chen, Fang Shan, and Ji Tungwen also changed in an instant. Although Lin Chen radiates his soul power, it can only cover 100 meters around him, and it cannot reach any place further away. Therefore, he could not detect in advance that a monster was coming to attack. A large area of ancient trees not far away was crushed, the ground trembled, and monster beasts roared in the air. With such momentum, there may be a lot of monsters coming to attack. Gather the team. Gather everyone. Wang Tianming was worthy of being the leader of the team. He quickly reacted and ordered everyone to form a group to prepare to resist the attack of the monster. Lin Chen's 5 sect disciples were surrounding the team, ready to fight at any time. Almost as soon as the team gathered, ferocious faces appeared in front of everyone. There were some that were several meters tall, and there were also slender little snakes, and all kinds of monsters surrounded them tightly. From the looks of it, there are at least hundreds of monsters attacking this time. What's more important is that most of these monsters are 3rd level high level, 3rd level top level monsters, and there are even a few 4th level low level monsters mixed in. There are only a dozen people in the team who are truly capable of fighting, and there are even fewer warriors who are powerful enough to resist 3rd level top level and 4th level low level monsters. At this moment, they were faced with an attack by a group of monsters with such a large number and terrifying strength, which was no less than a meteorite falling from the sky. They were completely unable to withstand it. Everyone's faces instantly turned pale. Even Fang Shan, Ji Tungwen and others also had pale faces. They were obviously frightened by such a formation. How come there are so many monsters appearing at the same time? Yan Feng asked with a slightly flustered look. Little beast chaos, Fang Shang said in a low voice and clenched his fists, showing that he was also very nervous. Lin Chen on the side heard the conversation between the two, with a look of surprise on his face. The last time he went to Zhenwu City, he was also attacked by monsters. Fortunately, he teamed up with others to kill the most powerful monster in the monster group, and the other monsters retreated, so he was spared. But now, there is another small beast chaos that is almost the same as last time. This time the beast rebellion occurred not far from the last beast rebellion, so I'm afraid there is some connection between them. But now that the situation was urgent, Lin Chen didn't have time to think too much. He raised his head and carefully observed the group of monster beasts. Level 4 high-level wind-chasing beast. Sure enough, at this glance, Lin Chen found a 4th-level high-level monster among the group of monsters. This 4th-level high-level monster looks like a wolf, and its body is not tall, but its aura is much stronger than other monsters. Many warriors in the team also discovered this monster, and the panic on their faces suddenly became more intense. Before, it was quite difficult for them to kill the 4th-level low-level snow python, but now, there is actually a 4th-level high-level monster here. Coupled with the fact that there were so many high-level 3rd-level and top-level 3rd-level monsters surrounding them, everyone immediately felt desperate. There is almost no chance of survival. Among the crowd, apart from Lin Chen, only Fang Shang and Ji Tungwen were a little calmer. These two people are the genius disciples of the inner sect of the Red Cloud sect and the genius disciples of the inner sect of the Wushuang Hall. As the elite disciples trained by the sect, under normal circumstances, the sect will teach them some life-saving methods. The two of them obviously had a trump card, but even so, they also felt heart palpitations. Kill the wind-chasing beast first. At this moment, Lin Chen suddenly shouted low, pulled out the cold iron sword and went straight towards the wind-chasing beast. The wind chaser is best at speed. If it attacks the team, most of the team will be killed or injured within a few moments, and if they can resist this wind-chasing beast, at least the team can barely resist those 3rd-level monsters for a while. Hearing Lin Chen's low cry, the others woke up and pulled out their weapons one by one, preparing to fight. Okay. Yang Feng, Zhou Wenyao, you two protect the team. The three of us are responsible for killing the wind-chasing beast. Fang Shang gave a low shout and used his physical skills. The moment he finished speaking, his body appeared 100 meters away. Ji Tungwen on the side also pulled out the black iron sword and went straight towards the wind-chasing beast. Among the entire team, Fang Shang and Ji Tungwen have the highest cultivation levels and are in the middle stage of Tiangang realm. Although Lin Chen's cultivation is only at the early stage of the 8th level of the body refining realm, no one dares to underestimate him through the strength he showed by killing the snow-cold python. The three of them are the three strongest people in the team. 7-star chain sword. Fantasy sword. Lin Chen was the first to rush into the group of monster beasts. He held the cold iron sword and swung it quickly, knocking back the monster beasts around him and quickly approaching the 4th-level high-level wind-chasing beast in the group of monster beasts. Roar. Hiss. Waves of roars of monster beasts rang in Lin Chen's ears, and in a moment, no less than 10 monster beasts died under his sword. Behind him were Fang Shang and Ji Tungwen. Then, the three people spread out and surrounded the wind-chasing beast from different directions. Roar. This wind-chasing beast looked like a wolf, with a body length of 3 meters, and extremely sharp teeth in its mouth. Its 4 thighs were powerful. Seeing Lin Chen and 3 people surrounding them, the wind-chasing beast suddenly showed ferocity in its eyes. Violent color. Generally speaking, when a beast chaos occurs, there will definitely be one or several demon beast leaders in the beast chaos. It is these most powerful demon beast leaders who will lead other low-level demon beasts to attack human warriors. In the area near the Malian Mountains in Yannan Territory, every once in a while, there will be monsters that go out and attack human warriors in groups. For this reason, many cities are built near the Malian Mountains in order to suppress the many monsters in the mountains and prevent them from going out to cause trouble in the outside world. Otherwise, if all the monsters in the Malian Mountains rush out, I am afraid that the entire Yannan Territory will be in chaos. when a beast chaos occurs, warriors generally only need to kill the monster leader in the beast chaos, and then these monsters will retreat on their own. After all, monsters have no intelligence, and the reason they gather together to deal with human warriors is that they are led by the monster leader. However, this is the Malian Mountains, and Lin Chen dare not guarantee that if they kill this wind-chasing beast, other monsters will leave. Crazy Sand Palm. Disc-killing sword technique. 7-star chain sword. Lin Chen, Fang Shang and Ji Tungwen attacked the wind-chasing beast almost at the same time. Although Lin Chen had killed the snow frost python with a few swords before, the latter was only a low-level 4th-level monster after all, while the wind-chasing beast was comparable to a high-level 4th-level monster of a mid-level Tiangang realm warrior. In terms of strength, it is much stronger than the snow frost python. Roar. Seeing Lin Chen and the other two attacking, the wind-chasing beast roared immediately, and a cold and violent light flashed in its eyes. Its body flashed and barely avoided the attack of Lin Chen and the other two. What a fast speed! Fang Shang shouted in a low voice. Level 4 high-level monsters really can't be underestimated. Ji Tongwen's face was full of solemnity. Just as the two finished speaking, Fang Shang suddenly felt a chill on his back, and at the same time, a strong force hit his back. Fang Shang groaned, his body flew forward, and finally fell to the ground, dizzy. The clothes on his back were scratched with 3 cracks, revealing deep scratches inside, and blood instantly soaked his clothes. Looking at the place where he was originally standing, the wind-chasing beast was standing there, looking at Lin Chen and the other two with cold eyes. Seeing this, Ji Tungwen frowned deeply. The speed of the wind-chasing beast was too fast. She didn't see clearly when the former ran behind Fang Shang and attacked. On the other side, Fang Shang grinned and climbed up from the ground, only feeling a burning pain in his back. Almost at the same time, the wind-chasing beast flashed again and disappeared. Oh, seeing this scene, Ji Tungwen was shocked, but after a blink of an eye, Lin Chen suddenly let out a long roar and turned his body suddenly. His voice was extremely loud and transmitted back and forth over the Malian Mountains. Many monsters in the Malian Mountains heard this long roar and roared in anger. The sound was sometimes far and sometimes near, and each was different. A loud voice also came from the north. Roar. This voice seemed to be a response to Lin Chen, but at this moment, Lin Chen did not listen carefully, but turned his body suddenly, and stabbed the cold iron sword in his hand to his back without hesitation. Bang! A burst of sparks burst out, and the wind-chasing beast was standing behind Lin Chen, raising its claws to grab Lin Chen. However, it was blocked by Lin Chen's cold iron sword, and sparks burst out at the intersection. What a strong force! After blocking the attack of the wind-chasing beast, Lin Chen's body only retreated, and a trace of cold sweat appeared on his face. Just now, he stabbed out a sword, and although he resisted the attack of the wind-chasing beast, the huge force also injured his arm. At this moment, a stream of blood suddenly flowed from his arm holding the sword, and he gritted his teeth slightly in pain. Ji Tungwen and Fang Shang, who were not far away, were shocked and looked at Lin Chen in horror. They did not expect that Lin Chen could successfully resist the attack of the wind-chasing beast at the critical moment. Before the two of them could be too surprised, Lin Chen suddenly leaped forward, like a giant eagle, and pounced directly at the wind-chasing beast. Eagle attack. At the same time, the sword energy in Lin Chen's body was released, hidden in the cold iron sword, and stabbed straight forward, facing this 4th-level high-level monster. Even if 3 warriors with the cultivation of the middle stage of the Tiangang realm joined forces, it would be difficult to kill it. If it continues like this, I am afraid that not only Lin Chen and the other two will be in danger, but also dozens of people in the team will be buried here. The only way is to fight quickly. Roar. Sword energy is the initial state of sword intent, cutting off all evil in the world. This ray of sword energy is hidden in the cold iron sword, and immediately burst out a fierce momentum on the cold iron sword. Even the 4th-level high-level wind-chasing beast couldn't help but get terrified at this moment. The wind-chasing beast roared and wanted to dodge, but before its body started to move, Lin Chen's attack had already appeared in front of it. With a bang, Lin Chen's cold iron sword hit the wind-chasing beast's head heavily. Chapter 76 From Despair to Hope. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hiss. Fang Shang and Ji Tungwen took a breath of air and looked at Lin Chen in shock. Kill the 4th level high-level wind-chasing beast with one sword. You know, if several warriors in the middle stage of the Tiangang realm join forces, although they can kill the wind-chasing beast, it will still take a lot of time, and it is inevitable that some people will be defeated and injured when the wind-chasing beast counterattacks. But Lin Chen, a warrior at the early stage of the 8th level of the body refining realm, killed the wind-chasing beast with one sword. Fang Shang's face was a little hot. Originally, when he saw that the person receiving the mission from Tianji Sect was a warrior whose cultivation had not even reached the early stage of Tiangang realm, he felt contempt in his heart. He was also worried that Lin Chen would drag everyone down. Who knew that among these people, Lin Chen the strongest strength? A trace of jealousy welled up from Fang Shang's heart. Lin Chen only had such strength at the early stage of the 8th level of the body refining realm. If it were Fang Shang himself, he would never be able to do what Lin Chen did when he was at the early stage of the 8th level of the body refining realm, killing 4 people with one sword. A high-level wind-chasing beast. Ji Tungwen on the other side had a look of surprise and astonishment on her face. She obviously didn't expect Lin Chen to be so strong. Ah! Elder, help! At this moment, a scream came. Then he saw the team gathered together not far away. Under the crazy attack of a large number of monsters around them, a hole was finally torn out. As the team showed its flaws, several people were torn in half by the monsters. He died on the spot. Hearing this voice, Lin Chen looked stern, raised the cold iron sword, stepped on Qinyan's steps, and quickly rushed towards the direction of the team. Fang Shang and Ji Tungwen also paused for a moment before using their footwork to quickly run straight to the team. 7-star chain sword. Rushing into the team, Lin Chen immediately used his martial arts skills and killed a top-level 3rd-level monster with one sword. Fang Shang, Ji Tungwen and other Tiangang realm warriors also used their respective martial arts skills to kill the surging monsters crazily. Last time, when Lin Chen returned to Zhenwu City, he was also attacked by monsters. Fortunately, he united with the warriors who were also besieged by the monsters and killed the most powerful monster among them. The other monsters dispersed after losing the control of their leader, and Lin Chen was spared. After all, this place is the Maoyan Mountains, and these monsters live here. Therefore, although Lin Chen killed the most powerful 4th-level high-level wind-chasing beast among the monster beasts, these monster beasts still did not leave. On the contrary, under the crazy fighting, the smell of blood in the air became stronger and sicker, and the ground was covered with the remains of monsters and a lot of blood. Lured by these smells, Lin Chen and others not only failed to repel the group of monster beasts, but more and more monster beasts ran towards them. Ho ho ho! The monsters in the dense forest roared one after another, and large tracts of big trees were crushed. In a moment, more than a dozen monsters appeared and joined the group of monsters besieging the team. Seeing a dozen more monsters appear, everyone's faces suddenly changed. With so many monsters, even a warrior in the middle stage of the Tiangang realm would be exhausted and die. It's over, we're dead. A guard at the 8th level of the body refining realm looked gray and said with despair on his face. Even Fang Shang, Ji Tungwen and others' expressions also changed slightly. At this moment, they are surrounded by monsters inside and outside, and as time goes by, more and more monsters will be attracted by the smell in the air and rush here to join the ranks of besieging them, and before more monsters come here, they will not be able to break out of the circle surrounded by monsters. If this cycle continues, even if the Tiangang realm warriors in the team can temporarily withstand the attacks of the monster beasts, as more monster beasts come, they will have a moment when their true energy is exhausted. By that time, the consequences will be unimaginable. Wang Tianming, the eldest elder of the Wang family, had a look of reluctance and despair. If their mission failed this time, the Wang family would face a lack of funds and even be on the verge of collapse. Phantom sword. Lin Chen raised the cold iron sword in his hand, leaving several afterimages in the air, and killed a top-level 3rd-level monster, but as soon as he killed the monster in front of him, another monster came up and bit Lin Chen fiercely with an angry roar. Such a cycle. After a while, even though Lin Chen's body was full of pure qi, he still felt that it was too much. Fortunately, Lin Chen and others had already killed the most powerful wind-chasing beast among the monster beasts. You must know that this wind-chasing beast is the leader of this group of monster beasts. If the wind-chasing beast is still there, once it controls the reasonable attack team of these monster beasts, their casualties at this moment will not be so simple. Puff. A demonic beast was captured and hit a warrior at the 8th level of the body refining realm. Before the warrior could realize what was going on, he fell to the ground and died. When the other warriors saw this, their expressions became increasingly grim. If the fight continues like this, the entire team will be wiped out. Even Lin Chen, Fang Shang and others found it difficult to rush out from the many monsters, but at this moment, suddenly, a huge roar that shook the earth came. Roar! Immediately afterwards, a huge, upright monster that was more than 10 feet tall rushed out of a dense forest. The top level 4 monster, but seeing this monster beast appear, almost everyone's faces turned desperate. It was extremely difficult for them to deal with the previous 4th level high level monsters, and now a top level 4th level monster appeared. The 4th level top level monster is equivalent to a warrior at the peak of Tiangang realm. To deal with it with a few warriors in the middle stage of Tiangang realm is no less than hitting an egg against a stone. We're dead, we're dead. Everyone was frightened and desperate. However, everyone originally thought that this top-level 4th level monster would rush towards them and then kill many warriors crazily. However, what surprised everyone was that this top-level 4th level monster suddenly rushed into the group of monsters. What's going on? This monster. Everyone was surprised. The monster beast that suddenly rushed out, instead of chasing them, rushed into the group of monster beasts and started slaughtering them crazily. This 4th level top level monster is more than 10 feet tall, huge in size, with shiny black hair all over its body. It stands like a human being, with 2 sharp claws. It opened its mouth and roared at these monsters. Every time a roar sounded, some low-level monsters would retreat in fear. The aura of the 4th level top level monsters was enough to scare them away. It raised a sharp claw and easily tore a 4th level low-level monster into 2 halves. Everyone was shocked. Things were beyond their expectations. What happened? At this time, a 4th level low-level monster pounced and struck Lin Chen. However, before the 4th level low-level monster could pounce in front of Lin Chen, the 4th level top level monster suddenly raised its claws and slapped the 4th level low-level monster away. The monster that attacked Lin Chen was shot several dozen feet away, fell to the ground, twitched a few times, and died on the spot. Hiss. Fang Shang, Wang Tianming and others took a breath of air. If this top-level 4th level monster had caught them with that claw just now, the consequences would be disastrous, but there was something even more shocking to them. After the top-level 4th level monster flew away, the monster that attacked Lin Chen, it suddenly turned its head and roared at Lin Chen, looking ferocious and cruel, but in Lin Chen's eyes, he looked triumphant. Lin Chen shook his head and laughed in a low voice. Little guy, I haven't seen you for a few months, but you are already so awesome. It's the little burly bear. Lin Chen was also surprised. The last time he met the little burly bear had just broken through to the 3rd level of high-level monster. In just a few months, it had been promoted to the top level of the 4th level. His cultivation speed is much faster than Lin Chen. Ho ho ho. The little violent bear roared twice, with a triumphant voice. Then it turned around and rushed into the group of monster beasts again to slaughter them. The flesh and blood, inner elixir, etc. of demonic beasts are a great tonic for warriors. Similarly, the flesh and blood of warriors contains a large amount of true energy, which is also a great tonic for demonic beasts. The two sides have been enemies since ancient times. Therefore, although these monsters are afraid of the strength of the little violent bears, they have never left, and they all want to devour many warriors. However, with the emergence of the little storm bear, the pressure on the team has been greatly relieved. Wang Tianming, Fang Shang and others did not know the relationship between Lin Chen and little Bao Xiong, but they realized that this was an excellent opportunity to leave this place. They can escape from here while the little raging bear is killing the monsters. This violent bear has blocked the attack of other monsters. Now is a good time to leave. Let's go. Let's go. Wang Tianming made a prompt decision and directed everyone to leave the place in another direction, but now, there are only less than 15 people left in the original team of more than 30 people, and everyone is more or less injured. When everyone heard Wang Tianming's words, they immediately changed direction, killing the charging monsters and heading out of the dense forest. However, before they could take 2 steps, suddenly, there was another loud roar that shook the earth. Roar! Another huge monster appeared. This monster beast is bigger than a small raging bear, its arms are as thick as buckets, and its hair is extremely shiny, the 4th level top level monster, the 4-armed demon ape. Everyone's faces turned pale again. Originally, the appearance of the little burly bear made everyone feel desperate. However, the little burly bear unexpectedly did not attack them, but instead helped them deal with the monsters that besieged them. This made them extremely pleasantly surprised. They were about to take advantage of the opportunity when most of the monsters were blocked by the small violent bear to escape, but they didn't expect, another top-level 4th level monster appeared. Damn it! This 4-armed demon ape was attracted by the roar of the violent bear. Fang Xiang's face was extremely pale. Demonic beasts have a strong sense of territory, and this place is the junction between the periphery and the depth of the Malian Mountains. Most of the monsters that appear are 3rd and 4th level demonic beasts. When the little raging bear appears, it roars continuously, and the sound is extremely loud, and these for the territory of the 4-armed demon ape is this area. When it hears the sound of the little violent bear, the 4-armed demon ape will naturally appear. Just like before, Lin Chen's roar was heard by little storm bear, who roared in response, and then followed the sound and arrived. In less than an hour, everyone went from despair to hope, from hope to despair, but just when everyone felt desperate again, the little violent bear, who was also at the top of the 4th level, suddenly roared at the 4-armed demon ape, turned its body, and turned to deal with the 4-armed demon ape. Chapter 77 The Vengeful Little Violent Bear. You are listening at MaleProtagonist. Everyone was stunned, and a glimmer of hope flashed in their eyes. At this moment, most of these monsters were killed by the little violent bear. Although a 4th level top level monster appeared now, the little violent bear had already fought with this 4th level top level monster, so they might not be unable to take this opportunity to leave this place. After all, the number of monsters that are still besieging them has been reduced a lot. Without so many monsters besieging them, their pressure is greatly reduced. They can completely kill monsters while leaving the Malian Mountains. Roar, bang. On the other side, the little violent bear roared, raised his claws and attacked the 4-armed demon ape. The 4-armed demon ape also raised his arms and slapped the little violent bear's chest hard. If any of their attacks fell on anyone in the team, the latter would definitely die. However, judging from his appearance, the little violent bear seemed to be a little weaker than the 4-armed demon ape in strength. The 4-armed demon ape had a huge momentum and was even stronger than the little violent bear. It was obvious that he had been promoted to the 4th level top level monster for some time. The little violent bear had clearly advanced to the 4th level top level monster not long ago. Both in momentum and size, it was much smaller than the 4-armed demon ape. Everyone took a look and was shocked by the strength of the 4th level top level monster. However, they did not dare to look at it anymore. If these 2 4th level top level monsters suddenly went crazy and attacked them, they would be finished. Moreover, the aftermath of the battle between the 2 monsters was enough to kill ordinary warriors in the body refining realm and injure warriors in the early stage of the Tiangang realm. It is too dangerous to stay here. Don't worry about them, let's keep going. Wang Tianming and others killed the 3rd level monsters that were besieging them, and quickly went to the periphery of the Malian Mountains. 7-star chain sword. On the other side, Lin Chen held the cold iron sword, used martial arts to kill a 3rd level high-level monster with one sword, and slowly went to the place where the little violent bear and the 4-armed demon ape were fighting. Little violent bear appeared here because he was looking for him. If Lin Chen didn't help little violent bear would have a hard time fighting with the 4-armed demon ape. Seeing this, the team members who were killing monsters and heading towards the outskirts of the Malian Mountains immediately changed their faces. Fang Xiang hesitated for a moment and shouted, Lin Chen, what are you doing? Come here quickly. Lin Chen, let's go quickly, otherwise if these 2 monsters attack us, we will be in danger. Yang Feng and Zhou Wenyao also shouted. Hearing this, Lin Chen shook his head slightly. He would not abandon little violent bear and leave alone. Immediately, Lin Chen shouted in a low voice, "You go first." Then, he flashed, performed Eagle Strike transformation, and went straight to the place where the two level 4 top monsters were fighting. Seeing this scene, Fang Shang frowned, a hint of sarcasm appeared at the corner of his mouth, and snorted, "Don't know what's good for you. Don't worry about him, let's go." As he said, he took the lead to walk towards the outskirts of the Malian Mountains. Although Lin Chen was quite powerful, his cultivation was only at the early 8th level of the body refining realm. Fang Shan believed that if he stayed, he would not be able to defeat even one of the top level 4 monsters, let alone 2, not only that, there were so many level 3 monsters around, and the danger for Lin Chen to stay was enormous. Wang Tianming and Ji Tungwen both frowned slightly. Although they had a good impression of Lin Chen, they had nothing to say since Lin Chen was determined to stay. At that moment, everyone stopped talking and quickly headed towards the outskirts of the Malian Mountains while killing the monsters. After a while, everyone walked farther and farther and disappeared into the dense forest. By the cold pond, the little violent bear fought with the 4-armed demon ape. In a moment, the little violent bear was injured, and the 4-armed demon ape, its 2 bucket-thick arms, were also scratched by the little violent bear's claws, and blood flowed down, which was so terrifying. Roar! That the 4-armed demon ape roared in anger due to the severe pain of the injured arm. It raised its arm and lashed at the little violent bear fiercely. Roar, roar. The little violent bear also roared and slapped down with its sharp claws. When the two met, both of their bodies retreated violently backwards. The body of the 4-armed demon ape was much stronger than that of the little violent bear. Under this attack, it only retreated a few feet and stopped, but the little violent bear retreated more than 10 feet. Some monsters that were slow to dodge were pressed by the huge body of the little violent bear and fell to the ground with serious injuries. Seeing this, Lin Chen took a deep breath and said, "Hiss, awesome. This 4-armed demon ape is so strong. Little guy, I'll help you." Roar, roar. Seeing Lin Chen coming, the little violent bear roared excitedly, but it had just fought with the 4-armed demon ape, and now it looked quite embarrassed. There was a thick red mark on its chest and a large piece of hair fell off. The little violent bear stood up and stood beside Lin Chen, looking at the 4-armed demon ape in front of him with a bad look. Lin Chen whispered, "Little guy, you hold on in front, I will attack from the side. Let's kill this 4-armed demon ape together." After hearing Lin Chen's words, the little violent bear immediately nodded and agreed. With the little violent bear's approval, Lin Chen immediately said, "Do it now." As he said that, Lin Chen stepped on the Qinyan step and went straight around the side of the 4-armed demon ape. Originally, the latter saw Lin Chen's sudden attack and wanted to attack Lin Chen first, but before it could make any move, the little violent bear immediately roared, raised its claws, and grabbed the 4-armed demon ape fiercely. In the eyes of the 4-armed demon ape, compared with Lin Chen's sudden attack, the little violent bear's attack was much more dangerous. Immediately, it gave up dealing with Lin Chen and turned to concentrate on dealing with the little violent bear. Ha! 7-star chain sword. That while the 4-armed demon ape's attention was all on the little violent bear, Lin Chen immediately used the 7-star chain sword, and a nearly 2-meter-long sword energy rushed out from the cold iron sword, attacking the back of the 4-armed demon ape. This 4-armed demon ape is a top-level 4th-level demon beast, equivalent to a human warrior at the peak of the Tiangang realm. However, compared with a human warrior at the peak of the Tiangang realm, the defense of this 4-armed demon ape is much higher. Lin Chen's attack on it shaved off a large piece of fur, but failed to seriously injure the 4-armed demon ape. What a strong defense. Lin Chen looked a little solemn. If it were normal, Lin Chen would face a top-level 4th-level demon beast alone, and even if he used all his sword energy, he might not be able to kill it. After all, the attack and defense of the 4-armed demon ape were too high. If it attacked Lin Chen, even if Lin Chen did not die, he would be seriously injured. Fortunately, now that the little violent bear is holding the front and Lin Chen is assisting from the side, the danger faced by Lin Chen is much smaller. Although the little violent bear's defense is not as strong as the 4-armed demon ape, it is also quite high. at least temporarily able to withstand the attack of the four-armed demon ape. In this way, Lin Chen and the little violent bear will join forces to kill the four-armed demon ape. After failing to seriously injure the four-armed demon ape with one strike, Lin Chen immediately switched to other martial arts. Phantom Sword. Several sword shadows passed through the air, and the cold iron sword attacked the four-armed demon ape. Then, he waved the cold iron sword continuously, constantly attacking the four-armed demon ape. In an instant, the sword shadows in the air continued, dazzling and incomparable. Although the continuous attacks failed to seriously injure the four-armed demon ape, it caused it severe pain. Under the pain, the four-armed demon ape immediately turned around and planned to deal with Lin Chen, the human warrior who harassed it first. Seeing this scene, Lin Chen was not in a hurry. He used the second move of Eagle Strike, Eagle Flash, and his body suddenly retreated hundreds of meters. Although the four-armed demon ape was powerful, it was large and not flexible enough. Lin Chen dodged quickly, and its attack could no longer hit Lin Chen, but then, Lin Chen flashed again, and the whole person was like a giant eagle, rushing towards the four-armed demon ape head-on. At the same time, he raised the cold iron sword in his hand and pointed it directly at the four-armed demon ape, released the sword force. Immediately, the cold iron sword was covered with an extremely sharp momentum. Feeling this momentum, the four-armed demon ape immediately flashed a trace of fear in its eyes. It raised its bucket-thick arm to block Lin Chen's attack. Ha! Lin Chen shouted in a low voice, and the sword force in his body continuously covered the cold iron sword. The four-armed demon ape is a top-level fourth-level demon beast, with extremely strong attack and defense power. If you want to kill this four-armed demon ape, Lin Chen must use all his strength. Bang! The cold iron sword pierced the arm of the four-armed demon ape, and then... crack! A sound like a dead branch being broken and an arm being fractured came. Then the four-armed demon ape raised its arm to block Lin Chen's attack. After being hit by the cold iron sword, it suddenly made a crisp sound and broke into two pieces on the spot. Roar! The severe pain made the four-armed demon ape roar angrily, and the sound was extremely loud. Hearing the roar of the four-armed demon ape, the monsters that had not yet left immediately trembled and crawled on the ground, extremely frightened. However, before the four-armed demon ape continued to roar, the little violent bear behind it immediately rushed up, pounced on the four-armed demon ape, and raised its claws to attack repeatedly. Roar, roar! Originally, the four-armed demon ape was severely injured by Lin Chen's sword, and now it was attacked so fiercely by the little violent bear, and the resistance and roar of the four-armed demon ape gradually weakened. Sizzled. The little violent bear raised its two sharp claws and inserted them into the chest of the four-armed demon ape with great ferocity, and then pulled hard, tearing the latter's chest apart immediately. A large amount of blood gushed out, and the four-armed demon ape fell to the ground and twitched twice, and died on the spot. Who? On the other side, seeing the four-armed demon ape dead, Lin Chen couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. His face was a little pale. Just now, he had used up most of his sword energy to attack the four-armed demon ape. He needed a period of breathing to fully recover. Roar! After killing the four-armed demon ape, the little violent bear immediately stood up and roared at the sky twice, with a proud and complacent look, as if to show its strong strength. Many monsters around that had not yet left, heard the roar of the little violent bear, and immediately trembled, and all fled into the distance. The monsters have a strong sense of hierarchy. Generally speaking, low-level monsters will avoid the breath of high-level monsters and dare not come out to act presumptuously. Previously, they dared to stay here because the team was here and there were high-level level 4 wind-chasing beasts leading them. Now, among the high-level monsters, only the little violent bear was left, and they immediately fled. After driving away the other monsters, the little violent bear turned around suddenly, looked at Lin Chen with contempt, and then raised its claws and hooked at Lin Chen. The little violent bear wants to challenge Lin Chen. Seeing this scene, Lin Chen shook his head and said with a smile, "Little guy, I didn't expect you to hold a grudge so much. Aren't you afraid that I will carve a flower on your body with the sword in my hand?" Chapter 78. Another breakthrough. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The last time, Lin Chen and Little Bolt Bear also had a fight. At that time, Lin Chen used the bronze body refining technique to defeat Little Burst Bear, and Little Burst Bear was angered and ran away. The Little Raging Bear seems to still hold grudge against Lin Chen's defeat last time. Now that its strength has greatly increased and it has reached the top level of the 4th level, it wants to challenge Lin Chen again with first blood hatred. Hearing Lin Chen's words, the Little Storm Bear snorted disdainfully, snorted twice, and hooked his sharp claws at Lin Chen again. Seeing this, Lin Chen couldn't help but smile hoarsely and said, "Okay. Little guy, not only has your strength increased in the past few months, but my strength has also improved rapidly. Since you want to fight, then I will accompany you." That with a clang, he pulled out the Han iron sword. Roar, that the little violent bear opened its mouth and roared at Lin Chen. Then, it raised its sharp claws and clawed hard at Lin Chen. Lin Chen's eyes widened and he said, "Hey, little guy. You are serious about this? Ho ho ho." Seeing Lin Chen like this, Little Storm Bear roared, as if he thought he had the upper hand, and looked extremely proud. "You guy." Lin Chen shook his head slightly, raised the cold iron sword in his hand, and attacked the little violent bear's sharp claws. Boom, a dull voice sounded. The next moment, Lin Chen and Xiao Baoxiong both violently retreated backwards. Lin Chen's expression remained unchanged, and the little violent bear was also unscathed. After one blow, they were evenly matched. Seeing that Lin Chen could not be defeated with one blow, the little violent bear roared in anger. It raised its sharp claws and grabbed Lin Chen again. This time, the little burly bear obviously increased its strength. When it used its claws, strong winds blew up, and the air made a hissing sound, as if it had been scratched by its attack. "Drink, little guy, I'll let you try my maximum attack power too." Lin Chen gave a low shout, and instead of retreating, he advanced forward, and suddenly rushed towards the little violent bear. At the same time, the sword power in his body was released, hidden in the stainless steel sword, and he attacked directly towards the little violent bear. Sword strength is the initial state of sword intention, and it is extremely powerful. Lin Chen didn't dare to use all his sword power, otherwise it would be bad if he hurt the little storm bear. However, it also released 50% of the sword power. After all, the little violent bear is a top-level 4th-level monster, comparable to the warriors at the peak of the Tiangang realm. It is powerful. If it only uses 30 to 40% of the sword power, I am afraid there is no way to stop the little violent bear. Puff, like an old monk ringing a bell, Lin Chen's cold iron sword and little storm bear's sharp claws struck together, and a series of deep, loud sounds immediately sounded. Immediately afterwards, Lin Chen's body violently retreated backwards, taking dozens of steps back before stopping. As for the little violent bear, its body also took dozens of steps back, and finally staggered and fell to the ground in a state of embarrassment. But on the whole, both sides used powerful attacks, but this attack was evenly matched. Seeing the wretched figure of the little storm bear, Lin Chen had a solemn look on his face. The sword power is very powerful. He used 50% of the sword power in the strike just now. If it was a 4th-level high-level monster, under his blow, it would probably be seriously injured or not dead, and it would lose its combat effectiveness instantly. Although the little violent bear is a top-level 4th-level monster, Lin Chen's blow was only a little embarrassed and not injured at all. Lin Chen took a slight breath and said, "So powerful, so powerful. Little guy, none of us can do anything to anyone. When your strength increases, we will fight again." That the little violent bear stood up from the ground. Although it felt a little unwilling, it also knew that with its current strength, there was nothing it could do about Lin Chen. Ho ho ho. Seeing that he could not avenge his last defeat at Lin Chen's hands, Little Storm Bear roared in anger, and then nodded with a slightly unwilling expression. After the agreement was made, Little Storm Bear turned his head and looked at the corpses of many monster beasts around the cold pool. Seeing this, Lin Chen also turned his attention to the corpses of these monster beasts and said, "Little guy, I want the wind-chasing beast and the four-armed demon ape. How about the others?" That the little violent bear nodded, turned around, grabbed the body of a top-level 3rd-level monster, and tore it apart with all his strength. The corpse of the top-level third-level monster immediately broke into two halves. Immediately, it opened its mouth and ripped out the most essence-containing monster. Flesh and blood swallowed, catching up a monster beast again. The little violent bear did the same thing, devouring it again and again. Although the little violent bear behaved like this roughly, as it continued to devour, its momentum also increased a lot. Lin Chen shook his head. The little violent bear's training method was quite special. The more powerful and more monster corpses it devoured, the faster its strength improved. And when it has been devoured to a certain extent, it will fall into a deep sleep. At this time, it is also the time when the little violent bear suddenly advances, ignoring the little storm bear. Lin Chen quickly collected many stones around him and arranged them into a temporary stone pit more than 1 meter high. Then, he turned around and collected the body of the wind-chasing beast and its 4 arms not far away. The corpse of the demon ape was moved into the stone pit. After doing all this, Lin Chen used the cold iron sword in his hand to bleed the 2 heads. The bodies of the wind-chasing beast and the 4-armed demon ape were both extremely large. Although a lot of blood had been lost in the previous battle, they still had a large amount of blood in their bodies. Once they were bled out, most of the stone pit was immediately filled. The blood of these monster beasts in the stone pit faintly exudes wisps of spiritual energy from heaven and earth. The blood of monsters has a very strong cultivation effect. Some powerful monsters, their flesh and blood, and the spiritual energy of heaven and earth contained in their bodies are even comparable to some high-end elixirs. Therefore, if ordinary warriors in the body-refining realm use the blood of monsters to practice, the speed of practice will definitely increase a lot. However, there are very few people who dare to do this. After all, the strength of high-level monsters is also extremely powerful, unless there are people from big forces and big families who spend a lot of financial and material resources to help this person, and using the blood of monsters to practice is not something that ordinary people can do. It is too disgusting to do so, not to mention that they can completely use high-level elixirs instead, and Lin Chen took out the blood of these 2 monsters, but he didn't fancy the spiritual energy of heaven and earth contained in their flesh and blood. The ancient bronze body refining secret book records it in detail. There are many main refining materials for the ancient bronze essence. The earth flame milk that Lin Chen took last time was one of them, and the other one was the blood of a level 5 monster. Looking at the blood in the stone pit, Lin Chen thought to himself, although these wind-chasing beasts and 4-armed demon apes are not level 5 monsters, they are also high-level and top-level level 4 monsters. Their flesh and blood should be able to help me practice the ancient bronze body refining technique. Lin Chen took off his clothes and jumped into the blood-soaked stone pit. He practiced the ancient bronze body refining technique on the spot. As the ancient bronze body refining technique was performed, Lin Chen immediately felt the monster blood flowing outside his body being slowly absorbed into his body, making his body harder and stronger. At this moment, Lin Chen has completely become a bloody man, but he doesn't care at all, but still practices hard. As time goes by, Lin Chen's body becomes harder and stronger, and his whole body is full of explosive power. The punching power is also constantly improving at this moment, improving and improving. Wow! Half an hour later, Lin Chen stood up suddenly and picked up the blood on the ground. His eyes were bright and shining. Looking down at his strong body, Lin Chen showed a hint of contemplation on his face. Then, he punched out suddenly, and wherever his fist passed, there were slight sounds. Compared with the past, the power of this punch was much stronger. What a powerful force! My punch now should reach 18,000 pounds, that when Lin Chen returned to Zhenwu City for the annual sacrifice of the Lin family, his punching power reached nearly 16,000 pounds, sweeping most of the Lin family disciples in the clan competition. And now, using the flesh and blood of this monster to practice, his punching power has increased again, reaching 18,000 pounds. You must know that the more you practice the body refining technique, the more difficult it is to improve your punching power. It has to be said that it is a miracle that Lin Chen can increase his punching power by 2,000 pounds in less than an hour. Lin Chen looked delighted. Although the ancient bronze body refining technique failed to break through to the 4th level of the ancient bronze golden body, it was a good thing that his fist power was improved again. At this moment, his fist power was improved. Facing ordinary Tiangang realm mid-stage warriors, he would not be afraid at all even if he did not use sword power. Buzz. At this moment, suddenly, a slight sound sounded in Lin Chen's body. Lin Chen was stunned, and then his face became more and more happy. I didn't expect that I used the blood of monsters to practice the ancient bronze body refining technique, and my cultivation level also broke through slightly. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth in the flesh and blood of monsters is extremely rich. Although Lin Chen practiced the ancient bronze body refining technique with the blood of monsters, it was inevitable that the spiritual energy of heaven and earth would be absorbed by it during the practice. At this moment, the true energy in Lin Chen's body clearly reached the critical point of the 8th level of the middle stage of the body refining realm. He was only one step away from becoming a warrior in the 8th level of the body refining realm. However, the monster blood in the stone pit had lost a lot of spiritual energy after the practice just now. It was impossible for Lin Chen to rely on this monster blood to improve his practice to the 8th level of the body refining realm. Shaking his head slightly, Lin Chen then sat cross-legged in the stone pit, and then, with a move of his soul power, he took out the 100-year-old baling grass. This baling grass was accidentally discovered by Lin Chen when he was on guard before. Now it is just right for a breakthrough. Lin Chen broke off a small half of the baling grass in his hand and swallowed it. After being purified by the small tripod in his mind, he practiced the Qingming Xianyang Gong, 1 big Zhoutian cycle, 2 big Zhoutian cycles. After a while, Lin Chen suddenly opened his eyes. After the practice just now, the true energy in his body has become more mellow, but he still failed to break through. Lin Chen broke off another small half of the baling grass, swallowed it, and continued to practice. Time passed slowly. Half an hour later, a slight sound suddenly sounded in Lin Chen's body. At the same time, his momentum soared, and the whole person looked full of majesty. The 8th level of the body refining realm, that finally broke through. Lin Chen showed a deep smile on his face. He had made some progress in his practice of the ancient bronze body refining technique, and now his cultivation had broken through to the 8th middle stage of the body refining realm. Roar, roar. The little violent bear not far away felt the change in Lin Chen and turned to look at him. However, when it saw the remaining half of the baling grass in Lin Chen's hand, its eyes widened immediately and stared at the baling grass without blinking, with hope in its eyes. Among the spiritual herbs, the older the spiritual herbs, the stronger their medicinal effects, but they are also more rare. Lin Chen was able to find this 100-year-old baling grass, and a large part of it was luck. Chapter 79, Strange Rocks. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Chen needed to consume nearly half of the 100-year-old baling grass because the small cauldron in his mind purified the efficacy of the baling grass. Otherwise, for other warriors, 1/3 of the 100-year-old baling grass would be enough for them to break through the bottleneck. However, despite this, the true energy in Lin Chen's body is more refined than that of other warriors. The power of the martial arts performed with such pure true energy is also extremely powerful, and if the little violent bear takes this half of the baling grass, its 4th level top level cultivation will definitely be completely stabilized. Lin Chen smiled faintly and said, "If you want it, then I'll give it to you." As he said that, Lin Chen handed the baling grass in his hand to the little violent bear. Lin Chen's cultivation has already broken through, and it is useless to keep this half of the baling grass. It is better to give it to the little violent bear to stabilize his cultivation. Seeing this, the little violent bear immediately showed a look of surprise on his face. It spread its claws and caught Lin Chen's baling grass. Then it excitedly roared at Lin Chen twice, stayed aside, swallowed the baling grass, and fell asleep on the spot. Lin Chen smiled faintly, cleaned his body, put on his clothes, and then his eyes fell on the many monster corpses on the ground. Before, the little violent bear devoured a lot of monster essence and flesh, but there was still a part that the little violent bear had not devoured. In addition, the corpses of the 4th level high-level wind-chasing beast and the 4th level top level 4-armed demon ape are also valuable. If they are sold, they can be exchanged for a lot of low-grade spirit stones. The claws of the wind-chasing beast are the best material for making weapons, and the fur of the 4-armed demon ape is the material for making soft armor. Lin Chen cut off the most valuable parts of the two, and then he used the cold iron sword in his hand to cut a long cut on the head of the wind-chasing beast. When Lin Chen killed the wind-chasing beast, the situation was critical, so he did not check whether the monster had an inner elixir in its body. However, generally speaking, monsters above level 3 will have inner elixir in their bodies. It is extremely rare for a monster to reach level 4 without an inner elixir in its body. Well, no, but what surprised Lin Chen was that this high-level level 4 wind-chasing beast did not have an inner elixir in its body. It is rare for a high-level level 4 monster to not have an inner elixir in its body. Lin Chen was just unlucky this time, but he did not care too much. He frowned slightly, exhaled, and turned to check the top-level 4-armed demon ape. Puff, Lin Chen inserted the cold iron sword in his hand, piercing a big hole in the huge head of the 4-armed demon ape, and then stretched out a hand to check inside. After a moment, his face was happy, and he withdrew his hand. In his palm, there was a half-fist, light red round ball. Level 4 top-grade demon beast inner pill. Lin Chen's face showed a touch of joy. Demon beast inner pills contain extremely strong medicinal effects. The last time Lin Chen swallowed a level 2 top-grade black-scale giant python inner pill, his cultivation level broke through 2 levels in a row, and his strength was greatly improved, and the inner pill in Lin Chen's hand at this moment is a level 4 top-grade demon beast. The strong medicinal effect contained in it can be imagined. Take this inner pill back, it should be worth a lot of spirit stones. Lin Chen put the inner pill away, suppressed his joy, and then searched on the corpses of other demon beasts on the ground. After a short while, Lin Chen got a total of 18 level 3 high-grade demon beast inner pills, 9 level 3 top-grade demon beast inner pills, and 2 level 4 low-grade demon beast inner pills. These demon beasts are just not needed after the little violent bear swallows them. But even so, Lin Chen still gained a lot. After doing all this, Lin Chen practiced swordsmanship on the spot, waiting for the little violent bear to wake up. After half an hour, the little violent bear woke up from a deep sleep. The little violent bear's cultivation method is different from other monsters. The higher the level of the monster it devours, the easier it is for it to break through. The little violent bear took a lot of monster corpses, plus half a 100-year-old baling grass, and fell asleep. The little violent bear fell asleep after taking the spiritual grass, just like a human warrior, using the skills to refine the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Roar! The little violent bear stood up from where he was and looked at himself with joy. After taking the baling grass, the little violent bear's aura has obviously improved a lot. Obviously, it has completely consolidated the top level of the 4th level. Then, the little violent bear raised his head and looked at Lin Chen with a proud look, as if he thought that Lin Chen was no longer his opponent. However, despite this, the little violent bear did not challenge Lin Chen again. Instead, he raised his 2 sharp claws and gestured in front of Lin Chen. Finally, one of his claws pointed to the depths of the Malian Mountains. Lin Chen looked at it for a while and said, "Little guy, do you want me to go inside with you?" The little violent bear nodded immediately. The inside Lin Chen mentioned was the depths of the Malian Mountains. However, the little violent bear did not point out what he was going to do inside, which made Lin Chen feel puzzled. He pondered for a moment. The 3-star sect mission he had accepted was basically completed now. He just needed to return to the sect to hand over the mission when the time came. "Little guy, tell me first, why do you want me to go to the depths of the Malian Mountains?" After making a decision in his heart, Lin Chen immediately asked curiously. Roar! The little violent bear growled and gestured with his hands again. After looking for a long time, Lin Chen roughly understood. The little violent bear wanted Lin Chen to do a favor, but as for what the favor was, the little violent bear gestured for a long time, but Lin Chen did not understand. However, despite this, Lin Chen still planned to help little violent bear. During the time he was training in the Malian Mountains, little violent bear had always been by his side. Lin Chen had already regarded little violent bear as one of his partners. Now that his partner needed help, Lin Chen naturally agreed. Lin Chen waved his hand and smiled, "Let's go, but the monsters that appear in the depths of the Malian Mountains are very powerful, so we should be careful." Little violent bear nodded in agreement. After all, this is the Malian Mountains. The deeper you go, the stronger the monsters that appear. But as long as they don't go too deep, they will not be in any danger. Immediately, one man and one beast quickly walked towards the depths of the Malian mountains. After several circles, Lin Chen and Little Violent Bear came to a dense forest. This dense forest is obviously different from other places. The big trees growing here are thousands of feet high, with lush branches and leaves. From time to time, the roar of monsters can be heard in the ears. Just listening to the sound, it is much stronger than ordinary monsters. After running wildly in the dense forest for a while, the man and the beast came to a huge underground crack. This underground crack was hundreds of feet wide and long, and the place where Lin Chen and the Little Violent Bear were standing at the moment was the source of the underground crack. As for the end of the crack, it was unknown whether it led to the deep mountains of the Malian mountains. Roar! The Little Violent Bear roared at Lin Chen, with a somewhat excited expression. After signaling Lin Chen to follow it, the Little Violent Bear jumped into the underground crack. This guy is so excited, is there something important in it? Lin Chen was even more curious, and then he also jumped into the underground crack. The crack was very deep. Lin Chen performed the Eagle Strike transformation and used the gravel on the crack wall to move flexibly. After about 10 breaths, Lin Chen landed at the bottom of the crack. At this moment, the Little Violent Bear was already standing at the bottom of the crack waiting for Lin Chen. At this moment, the Little Violent Bear looked more and more excited. After seeing Lin Chen fall, it strode towards the crack leading to the deep mountains of the Malian mountains. Not long after walking, Lin Chen saw a cave that led to the bottom of the crack. This was deep in the crack, and it was difficult for sunlight to get in, but the cave was bright. Lin Chen was curious, so he followed the little bear and slowly walked into the cave. The cave was not deep. After a short while, Lin Chen and the little bear came to the end of the cave. In the center, there was a huge rock that was 3 feet long and wide. This rock seemed to have existed for some time, and it was smooth and covered with dust. Roar! The little bear looked excited, and suddenly raised his claws and grabbed the rock. Bang! Just as the little bear's claws landed on the rock, suddenly, a soft blue light burst out from the rock. The little bear's claws landed on the blue light, and its body suddenly retreated backwards, hitting the cave wall hard. The claws that originally attacked the rock trembled slightly, as if the blow hurt it. After the Little Violent Bear stopped, it excitedly attacked the huge rock again. Bang 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 bang. Instantly, waves of attacking sounds rang out in the cave, but every time it attacked, the Little Violent Bear's body would be blown away. Hiss! Seeing the Little Violent Bear attacking so hard, Lin Chen couldn't help but take a breath of cold air. The Little Violent Bear is a top-level 4th-level monster. Even a low-level 5th-level monster would not dare to take it easily. However, the Little Violent Bear's crazy attack still failed to break the blue light film. Lin Chen pulled out the cold iron sword and thought to himself, the little guy is attacking the rock so hard. Is there something in the rock that the little guy is very eager for? But without thinking too much, Lin Chen chopped the rock with a sword. Since the Little Violent Bear wants to break the rock, it doesn't matter if Lin Chen helps it. Bang! Lin Chen attacked with his sword, and a light blue light flashed on the rock. Then, Lin Chen suddenly felt a huge force coming from the cold iron sword. All his attacks on the rock were actually rebounded at this moment. How Lin Chen exhaled wildly, and his body was blown away and hit the cave wall, with a look of shock. Such a strong rebound force, that no wonder the Little Violent Bear was blown away every time it attacked with all its strength. However, Lin Chen also felt palpitations in his heart. The Little Violent Bear's crazy attack was equivalent to all its attack power falling on him. The Little Violent Bear had high defense and could withstand it, and Lin Chen, although he practiced the ancient bronze body refining technique to the 3rd level of broken bronze rebirth, and his fist force was as high as 18,000 kilograms, if Lin Chen had used the sword force to attack the rock with all his strength just now, the consequences would be absolutely unimaginable. But even if Lin Chen just used the sword skill and did not use his full strength, he was still blown away. Lin Chen took a deep breath, released a sword force in his body, and attacked the rock. Lin Chen could still withstand the rebounding force of the sword. Bang! Lin Chen's body was blown away again and hit the wall of the cave. His head was a little dizzy. Chapter 80, Crazy Little Violent Bear. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the other side, the little raging bear attacked frantically as if it was risking its life, as if it was anxious to break the rock. Seeing this situation, Lin Chen stood up again, raised the cold iron sword, and slashed down, bang 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 bang, boom boom boom. Suddenly, there were dull sounds in the cave. After each sound, the bodies of Lin Chen and Little Storm Bear were knocked out, and the cave walls were shattered by their bodies and a lot of gravel fell down. However, with such repeated attacks, Lin Chen's sword power became more and more smooth, and faintly, the sword power in Lin Chen's body became much more condensed. More importantly, under the crazy attacks of one man and one beast, the blue light film on the rock was much lighter than before, but it was still far from being shattered. Boom! The little storm bear's eyes were a little red, and it raised its claws and clawed hard at the rock. With a bang, the sharp claws landed on the blue light film, and then, the little violent bear's body was blown away. Ho ho ho! Seeing this situation, the little violent bear raised his head and roared towards the rock, looking quite unwilling. Then, it turned around suddenly and gesticulated with its two sharp claws in front of Lin Chen. Lin Chen looked at it and said, "Little guy, do you mean to go out to improve your strength first, and then come back to break this rock?" That the little violent bear obviously couldn't do anything about the rock, so he wanted to improve his strength first. After all, the blue light film on the rock is not unchanged. Under their crazy attacks, the color of the light film has become much lighter. In other words, as long as they have enough strength, they can break the blue light film. The little violent bear nodded and rushed out of the cave first. Seeing this, Lin Chen nodded slightly and walked out of the cave. Although the cave is located at the bottom of the crack, the little burly bear can move up and down easily. It jumped and landed on an uneven stone on the wall of the crack, and then jumped again and stood on the ground easily. Lin Chen used the eagle strike transformation and easily broke out of the crack. After one person and one beast walked out of the crack, the little violent bear roared and went straight to the east. The place where Lin Chen and Little Storm Bear are now is located deep in the Malian Mountains. The monsters that appear are at least the 4th and lower levels. The frequency of the 5th level monsters is greater than that of the Handan where Lin Chen was before. The little violent bear did not dare to go further into the depths of the Malian Mountains. After all, the monsters inside were extremely powerful. Otherwise, the little violent bear would not only fail to improve its strength, but would instead become food for other monsters. After running wildly for half an hour, one man and one beast came to a grassland. The Malian Mountains are extremely vast, and there are grasslands and lakes in the depths. As soon as Lin Chen and Xiao Bao Xiong entered this grassland, they saw more than 10 giant tongue beasts from a distance. Megalodon is a social monster that usually lives in the grasslands and attacks passing monsters or human warriors. And this grassland is where the giant tongue beasts gather. The giant tongue beasts are only 1 meter long, but when they attack, they can spit out a giant tongue several feet long. The attack is so powerful that ordinary 4th level monsters will basically die if they are wrapped by their giant tongues. As for the small group of giant tongue beasts that Lin Chen and Xiao Bao Xiong saw, except for one who was a 4th level high level monster, the rest were all 4th level low level monsters. Roar! That the little violent bear roared and rushed towards the group of giant tongue beasts. Many giant tongue beasts noticed the attack of the little violent bear, and they all opened their mouths, spit out their long tongues, and attacked the little violent bear. Drink! That when Lin Chen saw this, he immediately used the eagle strike transformation. His body was like an eagle, and he rushed towards the many giant tongue beasts. At the same time, the cold iron sword in his hand thrust out, 7-star chain sword. Fantasy sword. The sword technique was used, and the sword light flashed in midair. Immediately afterwards, 3 puff 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 sounds were heard, and the long tongues of the 3 giant tongue beasts were cut off by Lin Chen's cold iron sword. Chi-ji. The long tongue of the giant tongue was cut off, and it immediately let out a miserable scream. Lin Chen took this opportunity, and the cold iron sword in his hand flashed again, killing the 3 giant tongue beasts in succession. On the other side, the little raging bear rushed straight into the middle of the giant tongue, ignored the long tongue attacks of more than 10 giant tongues, raised its sharp claws and struck down hard. Poof. The little violent bear's sharp claws grabbed a giant tongue beast, and with huge force, it directly hit the giant tongue beast to the ground, blood flew out, and it died on the spot. Chi-Chi. Among the many giant tongue beasts, the fourth-level high-level giant tongue beast made a hissing sound, swallowed and spit out its long tongue, and suddenly attacked the little violent bear. The fourth-level high-level monsters are comparable to the warriors in the middle stage of Tiangang realm, and their strength is extraordinary. However, they have no resistance in front of the crazy little violent bear. The little tyrant bear grabbed it with its sharp claws, just in time to catch the long tongue spit out by the fourth-level high-level giant tongue beast. Then, with a strong tug, the little Tyrannosaurus actually pulled the giant tongue beast in front of it. Then, the little tyrant bear lifted, he raised his thigh and stepped hard, crushing the giant tongue in half on the spot. This guy is so cruel. Seeing this situation, Lin Chen couldn't help but take a breath. Obviously, the little raging bear was eager to improve its strength, then returned to the cave and smashed the rocks. Lin Chen knew clearly, and immediately used the cold iron sword in his hand to kill two giant-tongued beasts again, under the crazy attack of one man and one beast. This group of more than 10 giant-tongued beasts was slaughtered by them in a short time. After killing the group of giant-tongued beasts, the little violent bear grabbed a giant-tongued beast with one claw, opened its mouth and swallowed it, chewed it twice in its mouth, making a crackling sound, and repeated this process. It didn't take long before the giant-tongued beasts were completely swallowed by it. After swallowing these giant-tongued beasts, the aura of the little violent bear was obviously improved a lot, but it was obviously still a long way from breaking through. Roar! The little violent bear roared twice and gestured to Lin Chen twice. Seeing this, Lin Chen nodded and said, "Go inside." More than 10 giant-tongued beasts alone are not enough for the little violent bear to break through. And the little violent bear and Lin Chen want to break the light film on the rock, unless Lin Chen's strength increases greatly, or the little violent bear's strength increases greatly. Lin Chen's strength is temporarily difficult to increase significantly, so only the little violent bear's strength increases greatly. If the little violent bear breaks through to the low level of level 5, it should be easier to break the rock. Immediately, Lin Chen and the little violent bear continued to go deep into the grassland. Not long after walking, they saw dozens of scattered giant-tongued beasts. The number of giant-tongued beasts in this group was much larger than before, and there were also several high-level fourth-level monsters among them. Roar! The little violent bear roared and rushed over madly, as if he was crazy. Chi-Chi! At the same time, the giant-tongued beasts around also discovered the little violent bear and Lin Chen, and they all rushed towards Lin Chen and the little violent bear, and stretched out their giant tongues to attack. The giant-tongued beast's tongue is extremely smooth, and it is sticky. It is several feet long and looks quite disgusting. Dozens of giant tongues rushed straight to Lin Chen and the little violent bear. Ah! The little violent bear raised its claws and easily killed a giant-tongued beast. In the blink of an eye, it rushed into the giant-tongued beast group and slaughtered crazily. On the other side, Lin Chen also raised the cold iron sword in his hand and danced quickly. In an instant, the sword light flashed continuously in the air, dazzling and dazzling. Puff, puff, puff. In a moment, Lin Chen cut off the long tongues of several giant-tongued beasts. Afterwards, without any pause, Lin Chen used his martial arts continuously and killed these giant-tongued beasts crazily. The air was filled with a strong smell of blood, mixed with a fishy smell of long tongues, which made people nauseous. Half an hour later, all the giant-tongued beasts were killed by Lin Chen and little violent bear. The number of giant-tongued beasts in this group was larger than the previous wave, and most of them were killed by little violent bear. After killing these giant-tongued beasts, little violent bear swallowed the blood and flesh essences of these monster corpses one after another. As the blood and flesh essences of these monster corpses were swallowed by little violent bear, its aura strengthened again, and it was much closer to breaking through. But little violent bear seemed to be impatient and wanted to break through quickly, then returned to the cave and smashed the rock. It roared impatiently, and gestured with its two claws in front of Lin Chen. "You mean, we joined forces to kill a level 5 low-level monster?" Understanding what little violent bear meant, Lin Chen couldn't help but frown slightly. "You know, a level 5 low-level monster has the strength comparable to that of a warrior in the early stage of the true Dao realm. In terms of strength, it is much stronger than a level 4 top-level monster. However, if Lin Chen and Little Violent Bear kill a level 5 low-level monster, then after Little Violent Bear swallows it, it will have a much greater chance of breaking through. After all, the essence contained in the body of a level 5 low-level monster is much richer and purer than the blood and flesh essence of a level 4 top-level monster. After hearing what Lin Chen said, Little Violent Bear immediately nodded, looking at Lin Chen with hope in his eyes. Seeing this, Lin Chen pondered. Although it is a bit difficult to kill a level 5 low-level monster, as long as he and Little Violent Bear join forces properly, it is not impossible to win. Lin Chen nodded slightly and said, "Okay. Little guy, when the time comes, you attract the opponent, and I will use the sword force to attack from the side." Lin Chen has now mastered 80% of the sword force, which is powerful. With full strength, I believe that it will still cause heavy damage to the low-level monster beast of level 5, and when the Little Violent Bear attacks hard, the possibility of killing the low-level monster beast of level 5 will be much greater. Hearing this, the Little Violent Bear naturally agreed. The most common in this grassland is the giant tongue beast. The giant tongue beast is a group of monster beasts with varying strengths. In the depths of the grassland, there are also low-level monster beasts of level 5, there are low-level giant tongue beasts of level 5 here, and Lin Chen and the Little Violent Bear went straight to the depths of the grassland. They encountered many giant tongue beasts along the way, but under the crazy attacks of Lin Chen and the Little Violent Bear, they all died in the end. Perhaps it was attracted by the smell of blood in the air, or perhaps it was very close to the depths of the grassland. Just when Lin Chen and the Little Violent Bear were frantically killing the giant tongue beast, a roar suddenly came from the depths of the grassland. Ah! Then, a huge giant tongue beast, nearly 10 feet long, rushed towards the direction where Lin Chen and the Little Violent Bear were. A low-level 5th-level giant tongue beast. Lin Chen's eyes lit up. After staying here for so long, he finally attracted a low-level 5th-level giant tongue beast. Roar! On the side, the Little Violent Bear roared at the giant tongue beast.